Okay. Well, there was a little hiccup. We're back. We are playing Night Call. It's a relatively new title that dropped on Xbox Game Pass. It's a game where you're a taxi driver who was attacked by a serial killer, somehow survived the attack, and now are getting back in the cab for the first time in a month after being in an induced coma. And we've met two drivers so far. I don't really think we got much information about the killer per se. We've gotten really cool interactions, really weird interactions. We listened to static on the radio, stuff like that. And a character just walked in to the cab to be our third fare of the night. Having a good night? Oh, this is weird. For a second, you freeze. It's one of the cops working on the judge's case. Judge is the name of the serial killer. Because he is the law. I am the law. She grins at you. Her voice creaks. You remember seeing her at the hospital. Something already bothered you about her here. You know, it's pretty crazy. For weeks, I've been saying to myself, there's something off about you. Something not so nice. I dug around, mulled it over, bugged all my fellow cops about it, because I was sure you lied to us. I'll let her keep going. She has a cold sneer on her face. I'm going to be frank with you. She leans over to you. I don't think you're the judge. Nah, I just can't picture it. She squints like she's trying to make you out from far away. Like, you have gone to the extent of hurting yourself? Yeah, between us, it's a bit of a stretch. She stares at you. But not enough of a stretch for my chief to stop going on and on about you. Seriously, he thinks about you all the time. If I didn't know any better, I think he had a crush on you. No. I think he's more interested in your profile. In prison at 17, an icy chill fills your gut. And for murder, too? You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. Since you got out, you've kept a low profile, but you're lying about your name and your address. I checked. This is, picked up. Since you got out... Oh, it's normal, you'd say, if they get word of your time served. No loan for your permit, no lease for your car. Meaning, no second chance at life. I personally like guys who want a second chance. No, I like guys who fight for a second chance. Basically, I like guys who are willing to work for me. She leans forward, her shining cat-like eyes narrowing. My chief wants to go to the prosecutor with the first and last name with evidence. Actually, knowing him, he's not so hot on evidence. So I'll give you info. Victims, suspects, medical reports, some photos that are a bit... You have to be discreet. Keep it between you and me. Interrogate. Ask questions. Dig around. I'm not a cop. She shrugs. Don't worry. You're already keener than half the squad. And don't forget, I'm not asking you to make an arrest and deliver the killer wrapped up with a bow in front of the station, okay? You're no Batman. You're just here to get me some more information. She rummages around in her pockets for what seems like forever. Here, take my card. I'll call you in 3-4 days. Just to check in. We'll chat. And I'll let you know if I have any new info. She takes on a didactic, paternalistic tone. Like she was giving you a list of recommendations for the 100th time. Don't get caught. Don't get arrested. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying to leave Paris. I know what you look like. I know who your friends are. You can either be the solution or the problem, my friend? She takes a minute to scan your face for emotions. If I have to, I'll go check in on you-know-who. Her smile is biting. That reminds me, she know you've done time? You shake your head. She snickers. Oh, my little dirtbag, you cover your tracks well. I did what I could. Yeah, if you say so. She sighs in a tired, exaggerated way. Don't try to mess with me, man. If things don't go well, I'll turn you in. I'll send your picture to all my friends in the media, and every asshole in Paris. Your picture with your name on it, your real name. Anyone close to you will have to have their places searched. They'll be put under house arrest, spend nights in jail. You have any idea how tense things are with that first trial anyway, or underway? You sigh. You know just what she's trying to get at. Come to think of it, your last name's almost the same. You could be brothers, actually. I'm nothing like that son of a bitch. She smiles. Let me tell you, with that face of yours and your handle, they'll welcome you with open arms. You have no right. I know we have no right. She takes on a serious tone, businesslike. I want to catch this killer personally. I want to drag him in court, ruin his effing life. With a bang. They can't botch this case. You got me? And neither can you. Alright? Obviously. Well, great then. We see eye to eye. So you can just say you're my informant. My CI. He ripped open your gut. You saw your own insides. You were in a coma. Yeah, you have plenty of reasons to want to get back at him. She furrows her brow. Yeah, I think you're actually going to do what I tell you to do. You investigate, ask questions, listen to all the rumors, and come up with a list of suspects. She lays her hand on the door handle and freezes. All right. And don't get fired. Without this job, or without this cab, you're nothing to me. Yeah, whatever. That makes you feel better. She puts her hand up and you can hear the words behind it. This conversation never happened. I'll make sure you get more intel tomorrow. I'll find a way. Until then, not a word to anyone, obviously. Not a word. The door opens, squeaks, and slams shut. So that wasn't a cab. That wasn't a fare. That was a cop that's going to try to blackmail me into solving my own murder, attempted murder, or assault. We sit alone for a while, teeth clenched, dry-eyed, ears buzzing, yawn-inducing shite. On the back seat, the cop left a pile of papers. Shite. Key in ignition, motor running. Radio on, crackles, you turn it off and start driving. Talking to passengers might unlock new documents and clues for your investigation. You will find them back at your studio after your shift. 6 clues discovered, and they are available in your room. Alright. I really didn't anticipate having to read out every single line of this. I didn't think it was going to be that type of level of interaction. I thought there might be a little bit of voiceover. You take a second to enjoy the silence of your studio apartment. Outside, the city's slowly waking up. You can still hear the hum of the taxi buzzing in your ears. You throw the files Bussett gave you on the table. Yeah. On the wall, you hung up a big corkboard where you used to pin up photos of your nephews. They've been gone since you got out of... Your plan is simple. Jot down all the pieces of evidence and connect them to all the suspects. The guilty party won't necessarily be the one with the most evidence against them, but the one with the most compelling evidence against them. It's like you're building a story about each suspect. Trying to understand their motives, understand how he or she got into the situation. Steps in the hallway, they stop right in front of your door, then move away. You take your shoes off before getting to work. Okay. So here's the autopsy reports. So crime scene photos. Holy crap. What the hell am I looking at? Alright, let's look at the board. Victim 2 killed an Algerian man, never existed. Death execution. Killer's height 1 meter 80 centimeters. Wow, that's tall. So these were people that were killed? Or people that are targets? Alright, so I'm not sure what I should be doing with that stuff. I can move that stuff apparently. I can move it, but I don't know to what. I don't know what I'm doing. To be quite honest. I wish I had a better idea what was going on, but I don't. Maybe I should just end the night. I got some of the details. Oh god damn it. I've been looking at this board for a couple of minutes. That's aggravating. The transition never took place. I was trying to transition to the game. Anywho, with a heavy hand, I wiped my tired face because I'm not sure if I'm liking this game. This game might not be a stream type of thing, unfortunately. Well, let's see. You pull open the sofa bed, which unfolds with an unpleasant creak. Alright. You collapse onto the mattress. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, my yawns, their faces, their problems. You open one eye. It's pitch black outside. Time for work. You get up quickly. A few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. Oh, I'm not sure where to go. Amelie Franconi. The passenger who enters your cab seems familiar to you. She gives you her address and you start to drive. You glance back at her from time to time, trying to remember where you've seen her before. It's no use. Suddenly she gives a little pout, clearly annoyed by your insistent gaze. Sorry, your face seems familiar to me. She breathes an audible sigh. Could it be... She pauses deliberately. I'm in porn. That's who she is, an actress. A former actress. You'd seen her in a couple movies a few years ago. That's probably why you recognize my face. Your mouth suddenly goes dry. Her eyes and voice show no sign of emotion whatsoever. She might as well have said she was a teacher or a dentist. Do you like it? A faint smile flickers across her face. Yes, I do. A lot. It's my job. I am proud of what I do, actually. Though I'd be lying if I said it was always easy, but given the state of the industry nowadays. And even then, sometimes it's an illuminated shop window catches her eye. She stops for a moment. Especially with the parents at my son's school, some of the fathers recognize me. Oh, that's fucking great. Some of the mothers too, for that matter. Whoa. Usually I can tell they're either amused or ashamed, which is too bad either way. What do you mean? Well, everyone loves porn. Even if you say you don't, the idea of porn is natural, actually. But when you talk about it out loud, people get all worked up. Yeah, she ain't wrong. Just admitting you watch it is an actual feat. These days, for example, the 25 to 35-year-old crowd is really into bisexual threesomes. 2 girls and a guy? 2 guys and a girl? No cops? But who'd be willing to admit that they like it? That they watch it? What turns them on? Afterwards, you know. But that's no excuse for your lack of tact. The profession has changed a lot since then, and I want to be hearing about more changes. Before, actresses could count on working a dozen years or so, 15 if they started young. They'd have a moment in the spotlight, and then it would be over. Their next career step was merely a slow decline. But nowadays, actresses have power. Thanks to the media, to streaming, and Twitter. Wow, Twitter. She catches her breath. And you can sense she is full of energy, electrified by the discussion. I started my own production company, and we make porn. She loves talking about it. You can see it in her face. Gender positive porn. Committed, respectful. Some call it feminist, but I'm not sure that's how I would describe it. Her voice is calm, a gleam of passion lights up her eyes. We shoot with bros. We respect our bodies and our personalities. Our actors are paid well. They receive residual earnings. It's brand new at first, it's fresh, and it works. Zero tolerance when it comes to those dubious types, to wandering hands, to any assaults on our well-being and our actors and actresses. Respect, diversity, creativity. I spend a lot of money defending our profession, going after sites illegally broadcasting our videos, making sure pirates are punished. She leans forward. But, by the way, do you like that kind of porn? I'm just asking because I'm curious about what the people like to watch. It's not really my thing. It's okay to talk about, you know? I'm gonna tell the truth. It's true, I hardly watch any. Hardly any? Yep. You blush slightly. Come on. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Do you prefer younger women? Older women? Yeah? Alright, fine. Do you watch movies? Do you read magazines? Yeah, magazines. Magazines, but don't you... You know it's not the Middle Ages anymore? She smiles. I'll laugh. I'll laugh at that one. Thanks anyway, and sorry for all the personal questions. You can't help reading in her eyes a touch of satisfaction, as if she enjoyed asking you all those questions. Before long, you arrive at the address your passenger had given you. You have trouble parking. None of the street lights are working. There's nothing stranger than an unlit Parisian street in the middle of the night. Your client gives a slight cough behind you. You wouldn't mind staying here until I'm in the building? They're doing work. The lights are not working. She doesn't even finish her sentence. No problem. Thanks. I have to say I'm feeling a little insecure lately. All of her energy seems to have vanished. She hesitates a moment as if she can feel your connection with the killer before speaking. I knew one of the victims of the serial killer. Natalie. I knew her pretty well. In fact, we worked together and sometimes she babysat my son. You know, she was a great girl. It was who she was, who she had been seeing, how she had changed before she died. You take a mental note of the new information. I'll stay here until you're in the building, okay? Thank you. She hands you the fare and exits the cab slowly, crossing the street in total darkness to the door of her building. You remember that night. The pain, the stab of the knife in your side. If only you turned your head, you would have been able to see your assailant's face. Maybe they would have killed you that night. Maybe your attacker would have already spotted you in the cab. Your passenger waves to you as the building door closes. You wave back. Fear spreads slowly through your body. You drive away. Okay. We're gonna go pick this lady up. The passenger who's entered your cab slams the door and stares at you intently. That's not who I thought it was gonna be. Good evening. Are you kidding? That's how you wanted this to start? Do we know each other? Don't play innocent with me. If I were to say to you... Her voice is slightly raspy with an oddly metallic sound. October 27th. That's the date, the night of the attack. The night you... Could this woman be the judge? 10:46 p.m. No, the attack took place later. Does that ring a bell? You nod your head. Yes, it does, miss. Don't you miss me? Not another word. She waggles an accusing finger at you. Last October 27th, you were in this cab, driving a fare, and you committed a crime. That's right, sir. A crime. Listen. Her voice goes up a notch. Believe me, you don't want to interrupt me. I spent the whole day working like an idiot for that rotten newspaper. Do you have any idea what I do for a living? Town crier. She heaves a sigh. Very funny. Absolutely hilarious. Her voice is increasingly aggressive. You can feel the anger bubbling inside her. I'm a sub-editor, Mr. Taxi driver. I correct mistakes that a bunch of moron journalists make. There isn't a single one, not one, who knows how to write a proper sentence. I've had it. I've really had it. And on the night of October 27th, you cut me off. I almost died that night. She grinds her teeth. You shudder. I crashed my car. My boyfriend's car, that is. The same guy who made yet another comment about women drivers. The neighbors called the police that night. It made such a scene. To think the guy dare calls himself a feminist. She pauses for dramatic effect as a disturbing smile spreads across her face. Her voice is suddenly noticeably quieter, almost fragile. The next day, no more boyfriend. No more car. I messed up a job interview with a major news outlet. A paper where people knew how to write, where they followed basic rules of French grammar. Imagine for a minute, I could have stopped correcting copy for a bunch of morons. But all because of you, because of your cab, everything changed that night. My life has never been the same since. But her voice is bursting with fury and hatred. Forced to go on and live with my mother while I went apartment hunting in this rotten city where tiny windows cost an arm and a leg. So I started looking for you. The back of your neck breaks into a sweat. You can feel the cold, clammy droplets about to drip down into your spine. I started asking around. I bribed one of your colleagues into giving me your number. Then I found your address. Your first one, that is. But that's your business. What matters is, I did eventually get your other address, the real one. At first, I admit, I was planning on going to your place. She shrugs her shoulders, her voice softened a little. Just maybe the spit in your face or something like that. Then I thought to myself, no, Ludovine. Maybe the guy deserves a chance. You never know. So you're going to apologize. Go on, give it your all. Take your time. Take a deep breath. Like that. I don't remember what happened that evening. Sorry for everything that happened. Your car, your ex, job. Sorry. Shit. She heaves a sigh, dispelling all her anger all at once. I don't know what to say. You were... Then I... It was... Her voice slowed down. It was... A smile lights up on her face. It was exactly what I needed to hear. I've been thinking about for months, going over it and over it, every second of the accident. Telling myself it could have been different, less complicated, more... I mean... less... well... you know... Good. 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 Thanks. All her anger just evaporated. No more looks like a kill, simmering rage or grating teeth. My boyfriend was a jerk anyway, and then this job, maybe it wasn't so great. She gives you a little smile. I tend to get all worked up about things. Not really. You noticed. And sometimes I take things a little too far. That too. In Paris, I guess we were quick to forget about being nice to each other, about being polite, and for a taxi driver, you're a real sweetheart. She gives a short laugh. This is what I suggest. I'm going to exit the cab. I'm going to go for a little walk in the cold to get my mind off of things. I have to learn to... Her voice falters. Manage my anger. It's eating me up. She shakes her head, and then without another look your way, goodbye. Door opens and then closes. You're alone in the taxi, your head spinning slightly as you just had a drink. Just one. Something really strong. Briefly try to remember that night. Nothing. Nothing but a vague impression of something behind you. The killer's silhouette, a fleeting presence. You shake your head. There's nothing more than before. If only you had turned around. Everything could have been easier if you had only seen the face of... Hold on once you start the cab. want this to be a game, like a movie instead of a instead of one of these type of things. Like I don't know. I'm digging the interactions, but like in order to actually, yeah, I guess talk about it or something. The nighttime news. A vox pop about the judge. A bystander brings up the fact that the police have still not arrested the homeless man seen near a crime scene. You raise an eyebrow a bit at this news. You didn't know that. As soon as the news is over, you turn the radio off. Okay. It's now midnight in the game. Four past midnight. My poetry needs a car ride. The woman getting your cab looks frantic. I've lost my inspiration, every last drop of it. Come on, drive. You throw her very skeptical looks in the rear view. I will tell you when to stop. I have to. I'm seeing a stream. Dead. A billabong. She stops talking. You hear a low guttural sound coming from her throat. A mantra. Billabong? Billabong! I must find a billabong. What's that? She inhales, closes her eyes, and focuses. Her voice drops, becomes more intense. A billabong. A dead river. There's one right below us. Drive! Drive, I say! You start driving. A few minutes go by before you realize the passenger is making a guttural sound. The sound resonates with the hum of the engine. Once in a while, she changes notes, modulating and playing with the harmonics. Suddenly, she shouts, "Turn left!" Then abruptly, as if she were following a path she alone could see, "Go down the boulevard!" You drive for a few minutes aimlessly. In back, your passenger is still singing. The meter is running. What kind of ride that puts you out of sorts? Who knows when it'll end? Your passenger squeals. "Stop! Right here, not a bit further." You brake. Yes. Yes. She whistles a high, loud note. The billabong runs just beneath us. Its water flows no more. The black stream from my vagina has stopped short. The rumble revolution, the water flows no more. All that remains is to clear away the remains. You stop the engine. Silence fills the cab. Your passenger's low voice and a scratch of her pencil on the paper are hypnotizing. How many rivers have run dry? The water has left its bed and flows no more. You feel something vibrate beneath you, probably the metro. How long to sculpt the clay and the mud of life in this water that flows no longer? Except the metro doesn't run this late at night. I plunge my calves into the water that flows no longer. I am calmed and refreshed by its coolness. She squeals so loudly that it makes you jump. She then returns to a simpler, more natural tone. Thank you. This poem has been years in the making. I was only missing a few lines until tonight. I sensed the billabong I needed while walking down the street, like a Charon. A muse. She opens her eyes. You. When you're driving alone at night like this, what moves you the most? I'm never alone. She shuts her eyes. Well, of course, true solitude does not exist. Simply pronouncing the word solitude proves that we are not alone, because someone is listening. I like that idea. I walk in the night on water that flows no longer. At my side are those who saw it run. Superb. I knew I would find my inspiration on the path to the billabong. She freezes. Your color is marble. a ficalite. A ficalcite. I can't even say that word. There is some weird words in here I want to look up later. She says nothing more, passes you her fare through the window and walks away with purpose. You sigh and drive away. There's some like $50 words in this that even like I'm not gonna try to gloat or anything. I'm a bright guy. I'm not gonna understand what a piffle site is. Like, what the hell is that? I feel like I'm not getting clues about the murder though. That makes sense. I'm so good on gas. Got back-to-back people here. I don't know who to go for here. I'm gonna hang out with the ladies for a while. I think that's a lady. Or it could be a boy. I don't know. Some of these faces are just like not... Yeah, Amelia, it's a female. I need help. The next passenger in your cab is getting chilled to the bone. Would you mind? You turn up the heat immediately. Thank you. Her teeth are chattering. She looks like she's at the end of a rope. Thank you. I've been wandering around in the woods for 3 hours. She looks at you. I'm not a... You're not... I'm a vet student, not a prostitute. I know. She freezes. I didn't mean... She mumbles an almost inaudible thanks, shuts her eyes for a second, and enjoys the warmth. Where to? Nowhere. Here, actually. I need your help if you're willing. You lean over to her. If I can be of help? Yes, I think I lost my cat. He ran off into the woods. Would you mind helping me look for him? Okay. I'll look left and you look right. You start to drive very slowly. You should be able to hear him. He's, wounded. She opens a window. A gust of icy cold air fills the cab. Wounded? Yes, he broke his paw a few weeks ago and I came out here so he could stretch his legs a bit. But he got scared and ran away. Before I go further, this will be the last, fair interaction for the game for tonight. If you guys are interested in continuing this, if you enjoy like the story time and stuff, we can do this. I'm perfectly fine trying to come up with ways of reading the dialogue in different accents and stuff. I am practicing my VOs and stuff to maybe break into that field, so I don't mind continuing this. Gameplay wise is like non-existent. There's nothing for me to do. There's some interactive stuff, but that's not really a whole lot. Just wanted to say that. It's gonna be your final fare. We'll just continue. Surprising because he knows the place. She flashes you a smile. What's his name? The young lady freezes. His name is... Vincenz, like the woods. Since that's where I found him. She looks away. You've been doing this job for a while? A few years now. Nice, okay. For several minutes, silence fills the cab. From time to time, she sticks her head out and calls her cat, Petite! Petite, petite, petite! She catches you looking at her in the rearview mirror and looks back out the window. Vincenz! Vincenz! A rather unusual name. That's for sure. I'm not very good at choosing names. She burst out with forced laughter. For example, if I ever have a child one day, well, I'll probably end up calling her, Marie? Or Louis? Something conventional, you know? Or Vincenz? Another bout of forced laughter. If I give birth to Vincenz, why not? Her laughter slowly dies out. Okay, fine. I must confess something. It's not exactly my cat. Whose cat is it then? from a lab at my school. It escaped, and if I don't find it, I'll get a really bad grade, and I'll have to repeat the year. And if I have to repeat a year, my parents won't pay for school anymore. See, my mother and father are very reputable veterinarians. I can't let them down. Alright, we'll find them. She lowers her gaze, her voice is soft and muffled. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. This kind of thing never happens. Usually the cats are... She cuts her sentence short and looks outside. I thought I saw something. You keep driving. You've never driven this slowly in the boys' divisions. From time to time, your passenger looks like she's seen or heard something. She hits the seat abruptly. Over there! I can hear them! You stop the taxi. The tires squeal softly on the gravel. Your passenger runs off into the night. You wait for her for a second and begin to hear the cat's cries. The meows are harrowing, painful. Their passenger reappears without the cat. What's going on? She's obviously in shock. I can't, it's terrible. What's happening? The cat was... She finally shuts her eyes and catches her breath. We were in the middle of dissecting the cats when this one woke up and ran away. He's half open. What the What? I can't leave him like that, but I can't bring him back. He's suffering too much. Dude, this is bizarre. I know I'll wait for you here. I'm not taking out the cat. I have to do this. We're not allowed to operate on live animals. I broke the rules. I'm going to do this. She gets out of the cab. The door slams. Her footsteps squeak on the gravel. Then on the grass. Even with your headlights on, you can't see anything that's happening. The cat meows one last time. Time passes and your passenger returns. She gets back into the seat. She looks petrified. You turn the key in the ignition. You start driving. Your passenger is speaking, but her words sound far away. I live on Rue de la Contrescarpe. Okay. A city goes by. You feel like it's only been built. Just settled in. You're shaking a little. In the backseat, your passenger starts to sob. I'm so sorry. If I'd known, I wouldn't have. You stare right at her. You're not far from her destination now. You want nothing more than to smoke a cigarette. Forget all this. Move on. Your voice immediately betrays how tired you are. We should just forget about this evening, you and I. You think? You cock your head. You can feel migraine coming on. It's over now. Believe me, the quicker you put this behind you, the better it'll be for everyone. Everyone. A shadow in the street catches your attention. Its height, that hair. Okay, you're right. For a second you thought you'd seen your brother. The less we talk about it, the shadows vanished. They keep panning to that one shot of a cafe. It's kind of weird. In back, your passenger doesn't finish her sentence. Silence fills the cab again. You keep driving in silence, paying no attention to the movements in the back seat. When you pull up to the address she gave you, she pays her fare without another word. She opens the door and gets out of the taxi. After a few meters, she freezes. Everything okay? She almost jumps. 5 seconds go by slowly before she hurries, head bowed toward her building. She disappears behind a large wooden door. You suppose she lives in one of the old maids' chambers on the top floor. This game's fucking weird. We're going to quit. and call it a night. If you guys have been checking in on me today, thank you. I appreciate it. It has been a long day of streaming, but worthwhile day of streaming. So thanks for watching, guys. You all have a great night. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We have a YouTube now. We have a Twitch. The more you guys subscribe on those other channels, the more we can focus on them. We are certified as a gaming channel now on Facebook, but we still need your help spreading the word. So when you can, if you can, all we're looking for is a little help, a little bit of likes and subscribes. Okay. That being said, have a good night. Take it easy.
I just need time to clear my head. Fires up, embers burn, can't pretend, yeah. And I've been thinking about things that we said, yeah. And I've been up all night lately, thinking about you, yeah. Are we just holding on? We're scared, still bruised, yeah. You mess me up, fuck me up, just can't stop, no. I told me I don't need nobody, but every night I'm feeling something for you, yeah. You mess me up, fuck me up, thinking about you. Thinking about you. Are we just satellites by the edge? Burning up, spinning round till an end, yeah. And I've been thinking